Welcome to this comprehensive examination of Bulgarian infantry small arms during the Second World War. When we discuss the weapons of World War II, Bulgarian small arms are rarely mentioned. Yet the story of Bulgarian infantry weapons during this global conflict provides crucial insights into how a small nation armed its forces while navigating complex political alignments and ultimately switching from Axis ally to fighting alongside the Soviet Union. Today, we will explore the complete history of Bulgarian infantry weapons during World War II, examining the rifles, pistols, machine guns, and other small arms that equipped Bulgarian soldiers from 1941 through 1945. Bulgaria's position in World War II was unique and complicated. Following territorial losses after World War I and seeking to recover disputed territories, Bulgaria joined the Axis powers in March 1941. However, Bulgarian participation was selective. Bulgarian forces occupied parts of Yugoslavia and Greece, but crucially never declared war on the Soviet Union, maintaining diplomatic relations with Moscow throughout the Axis period. When Soviet forces approached Bulgaria in September 1944, the government switched sides, declaring war on Germany. Bulgarian forces then fought alongside the Red Army in Yugoslavia and Hungary until war's end. This complex history meant that Bulgarian small arms served in multiple contexts, first in occupation duties from 1941-1944, then in combat against German forces from 1944-1945. Bulgarian infantry weapons reflected the nation's limited industrial capacity and dependence on foreign suppliers, with firearms acquired from Austria-Hungary after World War I, purchases from Czechoslovakia and Germany in the interwar period, and eventually Soviet supply after the 1944 alliance switch. The diversity of Bulgarian small arms created logistics challenges, but demonstrated Bulgarian determination to maintain military capability regardless of source. Understanding Bulgarian small arms requires considering the strategic and economic context. Bulgaria was a poor agricultural nation with minimal domestic arms manufacturing. Virtually all small arms had to be purchased abroad or inherited from earlier conflicts. This forced reliance on foreign suppliers created a diverse arsenal with weapons from multiple nations, each requiring different ammunition types, spare parts, and maintenance procedures. Bulgarian soldiers and armorers demonstrated considerable skill in managing this complexity. Let us now examine the small arms that equip Bulgarian infantry, beginning with the rifles that form the backbone of infantry firepower. Bolt-action rifles. Mannlicher M1895 rifle. The Mannlicher M1895 was an Austro-Hungarian service rifle that became one of Bulgaria's primary infantry weapons after World War I. Bulgaria acquired thousands of M1895 rifles from Austro-Hungarian stocks following the empire's collapse, either through direct transfer, purchase of surplus, or as war reparations. These rifles equipped Bulgarian forces throughout the interwar period and remained in service during World War II. The Mannlicher M1895 was chambered in 8.50 mm Mannlicher, a rimmed cartridge developed for the Austro-Hungarian military. The rifle measured 1 to 272 millimeters in overall length, with a barrel length of 765 millimeters. Unloaded weight was approximately 3.8 kilograms. The rifle utilized a straight pull bolt action, unusual among military rifles of the era, which allowed faster cycling than traditional turnbolt designs, but was more mechanically complex. The M1895 was loaded using a distinctive en-bloc clip holding 5 rounds that was inserted into the magazine from the top. When the last round was fired, the empty clip ejected automatically from the bottom of the rifle. This clip system was efficient when functioning properly, but could jam if clips were damaged or dirty. The rifle featured a simple but effective iron sight system, with the rear sight adjustable for range. Bulgarian M1895 rifles saw extensive service during Bulgaria's World War II involvement. During occupation duties in Yugoslavia and Greece from 1941-1944, these rifles armed many Bulgarian infantry units conducting security operations. The rifle's straight pull-bolt action was faster than turnbolt designs, providing theoretical rate-of-fire advantages in combat. However, the mechanism's complexity made it more prone to malfunction if not properly maintained. When Bulgaria switched sides in September 1944 and fought against German forces, M1895 rifles continued equipping Bulgarian units. Bulgarian infantry armed with Mannlichers fought in Yugoslavia and Hungary alongside Soviet forces, engaging German troops in numerous actions. The 8.1 50mm MR cartridge provided adequate power for infantry combat, though Bulgarian forces increasingly received Soviet weapons as the campaign progressed. The main challenges with the M1895 in Bulgarian service were the unique 8.0 50mm MR ammunition and the straight pull bolt's mechanical complexity. Bulgaria had to produce or obtain 8.0 50mm ammunition specifically for these rifles, as it was incompatible with other common rifle calibers. Spare parts for the bolt mechanism were scarce, and repairs required skilled armorers. Despite these challenges, the M1895 served Bulgaria adequately throughout the war. Mannlicher Schönauer M1903-14 rifle. Bulgaria also operated various Mannlicher Schönauer rifles, including M1903 and M1914 variants. These Greek-designed rifles, chambered in 6.5 54 mm Mannlicher Schönauer, were acquired through various channels, including capture from Greek forces during the 1941 occupation. Some may have been purchased earlier from Austria or Greece directly. The Mannlicher Schönauer featured a rotary magazine design distinct from the en-bloc clip system of the M1895. The rotary magazine held 5 rounds loaded via stripper clips and was renowned for reliability. However, the 6.5mm chambering created additional logistics complications for Bulgaria, adding another ammunition type to the supply chain. In Bulgarian service, Mannlicher Schönauer rifles equipped some units, but never became as numerous as the M1895. The rifles were reliable and accurate, but the unique ammunition restricted their utility. Most were eventually replaced by more common types or relegated to second-line units. Mauser M1924 rifle. Bulgaria purchased Mauser M1924 rifles from Czechoslovakia in the interwar period, acquiring several thousand rifles to modernize Bulgarian infantry. The M1924 was a Czechoslovak-made Mauser 98 type rifle chambered in 7.2 57mm Mauser, the standard German rifle cartridge. This gave Bulgarian forces a rifle using the same ammunition as Germany, simplifying logistics with Bulgaria's Axis alignment. The Mauser M1924 measured approximately 100 mm in overall length with a barrel length of 590 mm, making it a carbine-length rifle suitable for all troops rather than just cavalry. Weight was approximately 4 kilograms. The rifle utilized the famous Mauser 98 turnbolt action with dual front-locking lugs, widely considered the strongest and most reliable bolt-action design ever developed. Primary armament was the 7.9 kilo 50 mm Mauser cartridge, loaded via 5-round stripper clips into an integral magazine. The Mauser action was smooth, strong, and reliable, functioning under harsh conditions with minimal maintenance. The rifle featured adjustable iron sights graduated to extended ranges, though combat shooting occurred at much shorter distances. Bulgarian Mauser M1924 rifles saw extensive service throughout World War II. The commonality of 7.92mm ammunition with German forces provided significant logistics advantages during Bulgaria's Axis alignment. Ammunition could be obtained from German stocks or domestic Bulgarian production of this standard caliber. When Bulgaria switched sides in 1944, the Mausers continued serving effectively, as Soviet forces also captured and used substantial quantities of German 7.92mm ammunition. The Mauser M1924 was considered one of Bulgaria's best rifles, combining the legendary Mauser 98 actions, reliability with modern carbine-length dimensions, and the common 7.9mm chambering. Bulgarian infantry armed with these rifles had weapons comparable to German, Polish, and other European forces using Mauser pattern rifles. The main limitation was relatively small numbers, as Bulgaria could not afford to equip all forces with these modern rifles. Mannlicher M1895-30 carbine. Bulgaria converted some Mannlicher M1895 rifles to carbine length for cavalry and specialized troops, creating the M1895-30 variant. These shortened rifles retained the straight pull bolt action and 8-watt 50mm chambering, but featured reduced overall length for easier carrying by mounted troops and vehicle crews. In service, these carbines function similarly to full-length M1895 rifles, but with slightly reduced muzzle velocity and increased muzzle blast due to the shorter barrel. They equipped cavalry units, artillery crews, and other personnel requiring a more compact weapon. The same ammunition and maintenance challenges as the full-length M1895 applied to these carbines. Pistols, FN Browning Model 1900. Bulgaria acquired FN Browning Model 1900 pistols from Belgium for officer and specialist use. This compact semi-automatic pistol chambered in 32 ACP, 7.65 SAC-17 Browning was widely exported and served with many militaries as a personal defense weapon. The pistol measured 165 millimeters in length with a 100 millimeter barrel and weighed 620 grams loaded. The blowback-operated pistol held 7 rounds in a single-stack magazine. Simple and reliable, the Model 1900 was adequate for close-range personal defense, but lacked stopping power compared to larger calibers. Bulgarian officers and NCOs carrying Model 1900 pistols found them compact and manageable, though the light cartridge limited effectiveness. In Bulgarian service, FN Model 1900 pistols equipped officers, military police, tank crews, and other personnel requiring a sidearm. The pistol saw service throughout the war period, with some continuing in Bulgarian hands after 1944. The 32 ACP ammunition was common enough that supply was manageable, as many European militaries used this caliber. Steyr M1912. The Steyr M1912, also known as the Steyr Hahn, was an Austro-Hungarian military pistol that Bulgaria acquired after World War I. Chambered in 9mm Steyr, this semi-automatic pistol featured an unusual fixed magazine loaded via 8-round stripper clips rather than detachable box magazines. The pistol measured 216 millimeters in length and weighed approximately 1,000 grams. The Steyr M1912 used a short recoil, locked breech operating system and was known for good accuracy and reliability. However, the fixed magazine loading system was slower than detachable magazines, and the unique 9mm Steyr cartridge created logistics challenges. Bulgarian forces possessed limited numbers of Steyr pistols, using them to equip officers and specialists. During the war, Steyr M1912 pistols saw limited use in Bulgarian service. The unique ammunition in relatively small numbers meant they were secondary weapons compared to more common types. Some Steyr pistols were eventually converted to 9mm parabellum after German occupation of Austria allowed access to conversion programs, improving logistics compatibility. Walther P38 and other German pistols. After Bulgaria's Axis alignment, German military assistance included some German pistols, such as the Walther P38. These modern 9mm parabellum semi-automatic pistols represented advanced designs with double-action triggers and improved ergonomics. However, numbers delivered to Bulgaria were limited, with most German production going to Wehrmacht needs. Bulgarian officers fortunate enough to receive German pistols found them to be excellent weapons, superior to older Austro-Hungarian designs. The 9mm parabellum chambering was common, easing ammunition supply. However, the limited numbers meant most Bulgarian forces continued using older pistols or revolvers. Submachine guns, MP-34. The MP-34, also known as the Steyr Solothurn, was a high-quality Austrian submachine gun that Bulgaria purchased in limited numbers in the late 1930s. Chambered in 9mm parabellum, this weapon represented modern submachine gun design with selective fire capability, good build quality, and effective performance. The MP-34 measured approximately 850 millimeters in length and weighed 4.2 kilograms. The weapon used a simple blowback operating system and fed from a 32-round detachable box magazine. Rate of fire was approximately 500 rounds per minute in full auto mode. The MP-34 could also fire semi-automatically, providing tactical flexibility. The weapon featured good accuracy for a submachine gun and robust construction that ensured reliability. Bulgarian MP-34 submachine guns equipped elite units, military police, and assault troops during the war. The 9mm parabellum chambering was common enough that ammunition could be obtained from German sources or domestic production. However, the relatively small numbers of MP-34s in Bulgarian inventory meant they equipped only select units rather than general infantry. During Bulgaria's 1944-1945 combat operations against German forces, MP-34 equipped Bulgarian troops used their submachine guns in close-quarters combat during urban fighting and assaults on fortified positions. The automatic firepower proved valuable in these situations, though Bulgarian forces increasingly received Soviet submachine guns as the campaign progressed. ZK-383 submachine gun. Bulgaria purchased some ZK-383 submachine guns from Czechoslovakia before the war. This 9mm parabellum weapon featured excellent build quality and innovative design elements, including a quick-change barrel and bipod for sustained fire. The ZK-383 measured 875 millimeters in length and weighed 4.8 kilograms. The weapon fed from 30-round box magazines and fired at approximately 500-700 rounds per minute, depending on configuration. The ZK-383's high quality and reliability made it an excellent weapon, though its weight was somewhat greater than competing designs. Bulgarian forces possessed limited numbers, using them to equip specialized assault and security units, PPSH-41 and PPS-43. After Bulgaria switched sides in September 1944, Soviet forces provided Bulgarian units with Soviet weapons, including PPSH-41 and PPS-43 submachine guns. These Soviet weapons, chambered in 7.62 25mm Tokarev, represented the standard Soviet infantry automatic weapons and equipped millions of Red Army soldiers. The PPSH-41 was a robust, simple submachine gun featuring a 71-round drum magazine or 35-round box magazine and a very high rate of fire, around 900 rounds per minute. The weapon was designed for mass production in crude facilities with stamped sheet metal construction and simple mechanisms. Despite crude appearance, the PPSH-41 was reliable and effective, providing devastating close-range firepower. The PPS-43 was a later, lighter design weighing only 3.6 kilograms and featuring a folding stock for compactness. It used 35-round box magazines and had similar operating principles to the PPSH-41. Bulgarian forces receiving these weapons found them effective for assault operations in close combat, though the high rate of fire consumed ammunition rapidly. Bulgarian infantry armed with Soviet submachine guns fought alongside Red Army units during the 1944-1945 Yugoslav and Hungarian campaigns. The weapons proved effective in the urban combat and close-quarters fighting characteristic of these operations. Soviet ammunition supply ensured Bulgarian forces could maintain operations without logistics difficulties. MP-40. During operations against German forces in 1944-1945, Bulgarian troops occasionally captured German MP-40 submachine guns. This famous German weapon, chambered in 9mm parabellum, was highly effective and well-regarded. The MP-40 measured 833 millimeters in length and weighed 4.7 kilograms loaded. The weapon's simple blowback operation, folding stock, and 32-round magazine made it an excellent combat submachine gun. Bulgarian soldiers who captured MP-40s often retained them for personal use, as the weapon was superior to many Bulgarian-issued firearms. However, the requirement for captured ammunition limited sustained use of captured weapons. Light machine guns, ZB vs 1026 and ZB vs 1030. The Czechoslovak ZB-T6 and its improved variant, the Verza 30, were among the finest light machine guns of the interwar period. Bulgaria purchased approximately 2,000 of these weapons from Czechoslovakia in the 1930s, providing Bulgarian infantry with modern squad-level automatic firepower. Both weapons were chambered in 7.92 57mm Mauser, ensuring ammunition compatibility with Mauser rifles. The ZB vs 26 measured 165 millimeters in length with a 605 millimeter barrel and weighed 9.6 kilograms. The gas-operated weapon used a 20-round top-mounted box magazine and fired at approximately 500 rounds per minute. A key feature was the quick-change barrel system, allowing sustained fire by swapping barrels when overheating occurred. The weapon was renowned for reliability, functioning in harsh conditions with minimal maintenance. Bulgarian ZB machine guns equipped infantry squads throughout World War II, providing squad-level fire support. The relatively slow rate of fire conserved ammunition while maintaining suppressive effect. The 20-round magazine was somewhat small, requiring frequent reloading, but magazines were simple and reliable. Bulgarian infantry armed with ZB machine guns had firepower comparable to other European armies using similar weapons. During occupation duties from 1941–1944, ZB-equipped Bulgarian squads conducted security patrols and anti-partisan operations. When Bulgaria switched sides and fought German forces in 1944–1945, ZB machine guns continued providing effective fire support. The weapon's reliability meant it continued functioning despite intensive use in difficult conditions. Many ZB machine guns remained in Bulgarian service after the war, testament to their excellent design. The ZB-26's design was so successful that it influenced the British Bren gun, which was essentially a ZB modified for .303 British ammunition. Bulgarian forces benefited from operating one of the finest light machine guns of the era, giving squad-level firepower comparable to any contemporary military. Madsen light machine gun. Bulgaria operated a small number of Danish Madsen light machine guns, probably fewer than 100 weapons total. The Madsen was one of the earliest successful light machine guns, dating to 1902, and featured a unique recoil-operated action with a hinged receiver. Bulgarian Madsens were chambered in 8mm and used top-mounted curved magazines. The Madsen was reliable and effective, despite its mechanical complexity and somewhat outdated design. However, the small numbers in Bulgarian service meant Madsens were secondary weapons used primarily by specialized units or for training. The unique operating mechanism required skilled armorers for maintenance, limiting utility for general infantry units. DP-28U. After Bulgaria's 1944 alliance with the Soviet Union, Bulgarian forces received DP-28 light machine guns, officially DP-27, to equip units fighting alongside Red Army forces. This Soviet gas-operated weapon was chambered in 7.62 54 mm, the same cartridge as Soviet Mosin Nagant rifles. The DP-28 measured 1,272 mm in length and weighed 9.12 kilograms. The weapon used a distinctive 47-round pan magazine mounted on top of the receiver and fired at approximately 550 rounds per minute. The DP-28 was designed for simplicity and ease of manufacture, with straightforward operating principles and robust construction. The large-capacity pan magazine reduced reload frequency compared to box magazine designs, though the magazine was awkward to carry and prone to damage if dropped. Bulgarian infantry receiving DP-28s found them effective and reliable, particularly suited to offensive operations, where the high capacity reduced reloading needs during assaults. The weapon's simplicity made it easy to maintain even for troops with limited training. Bulgarian DP-28 gunners fought effectively during 1944–1945 Yugoslav and Hungarian operations. Heavy machine guns U. Schwarzlos M0712. The Schwarzlos M0712 was an Austro-Hungarian heavy machine gun that Bulgaria acquired after World War I. This water-cooled, delayed blowback weapon was chambered in 8K 50mm Mannlicher, the same cartridge as Bulgarian M1895 rifles, providing ammunition commonality. The weapon weighed approximately 40 kilograms with tripod and fired at about 400 rounds per minute. The Schwarzlos featured an unusual delayed blowback operating system rather than the recoil or gas operation used by most machine guns. This simpler mechanism had fewer moving parts, but required robust construction to handle the pressures. The weapon was reliable, though somewhat heavy and slow-firing by World War II standards. Bulgarian Schwarzlos machine guns equipped infantry support weapons companies and defensive positions throughout the war. The water-cooled design allowed sustained fire, essential for defensive operations. The 8-Air 50mm chambering ensured ammunition compatibility with Bulgarian Mannlicher rifles, simplifying logistics. However, the weapon's weight and slow rate of fire marked it as somewhat obsolete by 1940 standards. During Bulgaria's 1944–1945 combat operations, Schwarzlos guns provided defensive firepower and base of fire for Bulgarian units. The weapons continued functioning adequately despite age and intensive use, demonstrating the robust Austro-Hungarian design. Many were eventually replaced by Soviet weapons, but some remained in service through war's end. ZB-37 heavy machine gun in Bulgaria purchased some ZB-37 heavy machine guns from Czechoslovakia, probably 100–200 weapons. This gas-operated air-cooled weapon, chambered in 7.82 57mm Mauser, represented modern heavy machine gun design suitable for both infantry support and anti-aircraft roles. The weapon weighed approximately 19 kilograms without mount and fired at about 700 rounds per minute. The ZB-37 used fabric belts for ammunition feed and featured quick-change barrels for sustained fire. The high rate of fire and air-cooled design made it lighter than water-cooled weapons while maintaining good sustained fire capability. Bulgarian forces used ZB-37s in both ground support and anti-aircraft roles, taking advantage of the weapon's flexibility. In combat, ZB-37 machine guns provided heavy fire support for Bulgarian infantry operations. The high rate of fire made the weapon effective for suppressive fire, while the 7.92mm chambering ensured ammunition compatibility with rifles and light machine guns. The weapons served throughout the war, demonstrating Czechoslovak engineering quality. Maxim M1910 and Variantiu. After 1944, Soviet forces provided Bulgarian units with Maxim M1910 heavy machine guns and variants. This water-cooled, recoil-operated weapon chambered in 7.62 54mm represented one of the oldest machine gun designs still in service, but remained effective for defensive positions requiring sustained fire. The Maxim weighed approximately 23 kilograms for the gun alone, with the wheeled mount, Sokolov mount, adding significant weight. The weapon used fabric belts holding 250 rounds and fired at about 600 rounds per minute. The water-cooling jacket allowed prolonged firing without overheating, essential for defensive operations. Bulgarian forces receiving Maxim guns used them in defensive positions and for providing base of fire during offensive operations. The weapon's weight restricted mobility, but this was acceptable for established defensive positions. Bulgarian machine gun crews adapted quickly to Soviet equipment, operating Maxims effectively during 1944 and 1945 operations. The story of Bulgarian infantry small arms during World War II reflects a small nation navigating complex political waters while attempting to arm its forces with diverse equipment from multiple sources. Bulgarian small arms inventory included Austro-Hungarian Mannlicher rifles inherited from World War I, Czechoslovak Mausers and machine guns purchased in the 1930s, German weapons received during Axis alignment, and Soviet weapons provided after the 1944 alliance switch. This diversity created significant logistics challenges, with Bulgarian forces simultaneously operating weapons chambered in 8 50mm Mannlicher, 7.92 50mm Mauser, 9mm Parabellum, 7.62 25mm Tokarev, 7.62 and 54mm Russian, and numerous other calibers. Bulgarian armorers and logistics personnel demonstrated considerable skill managing this complexity, keeping diverse weapons operational despite supply challenges. The Mannlicher M1895 with its straight-pull bolt action represented Bulgaria's most numerous rifle, equipping many units throughout the war. The Czechoslovak ZB machine guns provided excellent squad-level automatic firepower, while Schwarzlos and later Soviet heavy machine guns supplied sustained fire capability. German and Soviet submachine guns equipped assault troops and specialists, providing close-range firepower. When Bulgaria switched sides in September 1944 and fought alongside Soviet forces against Germany, the transition from German-compatible to Soviet-compatible equipment occurred gradually. Bulgarian forces initially fought with their existing Western weapons, supplemented by captured German arms, then increasingly received Soviet equipment as operations continued. By war's end, Bulgarian infantry carried a mix of Western and Soviet weapons, with Soviet types gradually predominating. Bulgarian soldiers demonstrated adaptability, learning to operate weapons from multiple nations and maintain proficiency despite equipment diversity. Whether fighting in occupation duties from 1941-1944 or in combat operations against Germany from 1944-1945, Bulgarian infantry used their diverse weapons effectively, achieving military objectives despite logistics challenges. Thank you for joining us on this comprehensive exploration of Bulgarian infantry small arms during World War II. From Austro-Hungarian Mannlichers to Czechoslovak Mausers and machine guns, from German submachine guns to Soviet automatic weapons, these diverse firearms represented Bulgaria's efforts to equip its forces while navigating the complex political landscape of World War II. Bulgarian soldiers and armorers demonstrated skill and determination in making effective use of this diverse arsenal.